Hi, welcome to this H2 Mathematics explanation video. I'm Terence Tan, a H2 Mathematics tutor. Now in this video, I'll be going through the question. Now this is a video about the techniques to go about solving for this type of question. So this video will serve as a complementary video to your lectures or even your tutorials in school. So, if you like the video, do remember to like, share and subscribe and share it with your friends. Now, without further ado, so when you're given a question on the system of linear equation, what can you do? Now, this is my personal approach when I want to solve for a system of linear equation. It's a three-step approach. Firstly, I will define whatever unknown that is given to me. Now, usually I will give it the variable x, y, z, but it's possible to use other variables such as a, b, c, or even p, q, r. Now, after definition is formulation, where you need to form the system of linear equation. Later on, we will see a question whereby the equation that you form may not be linear, and you would need to know how to resolve them. Now, after that comes the easiest part, which is calculation. And this just simply uses your GCE. So definition, formulation, and calculation. Let's see how to apply them. Now in this first question by Jurong Junior College, it says that Mr. Subesh returned to Singapore after his tour in Europe. And he wishes to convert his foreign currency back into the Singapore dollar. Now it's given, by the exchange rate in the table. And they ask how much of each currency has Mr. Subesh left after his tour. Now, so what is the unknown in this question is the currency, correct? And because the unknown is a currency, we therefore define the currency itself. So let XYZ be the amount of Swiss franc, British pound, and euro that Mr. Subesh had, respectively, where XYZ is the real value. Now, if let me just use money changer A. If I have 1 Swiss franc, then the money changer A will give me $1.35 Sing dollar. Now, if I have 2 Swiss franc, then you just multiply $1.35 by 2. Now, if I have X amount of Swiss franc, then therefore, money changer A will have to give me $1.35 multiplied by X. Now, you do the same thing for British pound and for euro, as well as for money changer B and money changer C. Now, this is how we form the linear system. Now, for money changer A, it will be 1.35x plus 1.80y plus 1.55z equals to $1,151.50. Now, you repeat the same method for money changer B and then money changer C. Now, this we have formed a system of linear equation, right? Because each of the expression, let's say 1.35x, then next 1.80y, and lastly 1.55z, they are each linear equations. They are linear expressions. 1.35x is a linear expression in terms of x. 1.80y is a linear expression in terms of y, and 1.55z is the linear expression in terms of z. Likewise for B and C. So therefore, you can go to your graphing calculator, press Add, press Polysimon 2, press Solving of Simultaneous Equation, key in the coefficient of x, y, z, and what we actually have left is that x is equals to 250 Swiss franc, y is 125 British pound, and then z is 380 euro. Now, let's take a look at another question. This time is from Pioneer Junior College. And the question says that the first 3 terms of a sequence are given by u1, which is equal to 70, u2, which is 136, and u3, which is 198. It is given that un is a quadratic polynomial in n. Find un in terms of n. Now, if we give a quadratic formula, a very generic quadratic formula, that is ax squared plus bx plus c, and that is a quadratic formula in terms of x. So what about quadratic polynomial in terms of n? That is just simply an squared plus bn plus c. So I have defined the quadratic polynomial. So I say let A, B, C be three different constants such that un is equals to an squared plus bn plus c, where A, B, C they are the real value. Now, using the sequence that was given to me, I can therefore form when n is equals to 1. We will get a plus b plus c equals to 17. When n equals to 2, I will have 4a plus 2b plus c to give me 136. Likewise, for u3, I'll get 9a plus 3b plus c equals to 198. Using the calculator, what I have is a is equals to minus 2, b is equals to 72, and c is equals to 0. Now, because of the nature of the question, which wants you to write un in terms of n, I'll have a concluding statement that says that therefore un is equals to negative 2n squared plus 72n. Okay, I hope this is a bit more straightforward. Let's do a slightly difficult question. This is from Raffles Institution, which says that a local wholesaler sells a Pikachu plushie in two different sizes. One small, one large. Now the number of Pikachu plushie is bought by three different retailers, and the total amount that are paid are given by the following table. Now find the price of each small and each large Pikachu plushie and determine the value of K. Now the unknown in this case is very simple, it's quite straightforward. It's the price of one small and one large Pikachu plushie. So therefore, I say let x and y be the price of a small and a large Pikachu plushie respectively, where x and y they are the real value. Now, like what I did before, I convert the table into its linear equations, which would be for retailer A is 30x plus 50y is equal to 1375. Likewise for retailer B and retailer C. But now we run into a problem. Remember I said that each expression must be linear. So for 30x is a linear expression in terms of x, for 50y is a linear expression in terms of y. What about for retailer B when we have kx? Now this itself is not a linear expression because k is an unknown and x is an unknown. So therefore, in order to do it, we need to eliminate one of the unknowns. Now, so one way to go about doing it is to make k your subject. Okay? Because it's quite straightforward that you can factorize out k in retailer B and you can factorize out k in retailer C. So let's take a look at retailer B first. If we factorize out k, we will left with x plus 2y. Bring them to the right hand side, and what we have is 2704 divided by x plus 2y. Do the same thing for retailer C. You will factorize out k, you get 2x plus y, you bring them to the right hand side, and you get 2522 divided by 2x plus y. Now, because of this equation, we can therefore cross multiply to get this. Expand them and then bring them to one side, and you should get this. Now, this itself is a linear equation in terms of x and in terms of y. We have this plus retailer A. We therefore can use the calculator to find that x is equal to 15, while y is equal to $18.50. Now, I need to have a second part of the question, which is to find the value of k. Now, because I have already given what k is, which is 2704 divided by x plus 2y, substitute the value of x and y into it, and therefore I'll get k to give me 52. Okay? Now let's take a look at two more questions. Okay? The first one is from VJC from Victoria Junior College. Let me just shift this down so you can see. Apologize for that. Okay, so in this question, they say that the Singapore Utility Board charges the residential user based on the usage of electricity, water, and gas. Now, electricity and gas are charged based on kilowatts, while water is charged based on cubic meter. And then below is a utility statement for Mr. Pendy for the month of May all the way to August. Now, it's known that the unit cost for each electricity, water, and gas remain unchanged from May and June. But the unit cost for electricity has increased by 20% with effect from July 2017. Now, so what is the unknown here? Now, the unknown here is the unit cost of electricity, water, and gas, and particularly in the month of May or June, because these two, the unit cost has yet to change. So therefore, when I define it, alright, I will have said, so when I defined it, Okay, I will have said something like let X and Y, let X, Y, Z be the unit cost of electricity, water and gas for the month of May or June, because either of the month is unchanged. For May or June respectively, where X, Y, Z they are the real value. Now, because for the month of July and August that the price has changed, I write a footnote for myself. This is just so that I would be very conscious of it. So it's noted that the unit cost for electricity has increased by 20% from July 2017 onwards. So this is just a note to myself. Okay? Now, I had the utility due for May, June, and July. Right? So for June, you just take 514 times X plus 18.8 Y plus 134Z to give you $155.54. That's for May. Do that for June as well. Now when it comes to July, electricity costs increased by 20%. So it's no longer X dollar. Instead, it is 1.2X. Now you take 1.2X and multiply by how much it used for the month of July. In this case, it's 639. And so therefore, if you take 639 times 1.2, you should actually get 763.2. Okay? So that's why for my month of July is that. Now with that said, okay, you can use the GCE, then you can find what is X, what is Y, and what is Z. Now for the part 2 of the question, it says that the water usage for August 2017 was not clearly printed. Now, but you use the answer that you have from part 1, you need to calculate the water usage for August 2017. Okay, and the question actually asks you to round off to the nearest cubic meter. So, how do we go about solving for this? Now, the easiest way is for me to say let W be the water usage for August 2017. So, I define it. Then, because the electricity bill in August is also 1.2x. Right? So I take 555 times 1.2, which will give me 666. I times X plus W times Y plus 128 times Z. You should get $184.84. Now you try to expand them out and then shift them to one side and then make W the subject, and what I will get is when I approximate, it will be 16 cubic meter. Okay? Now, so this is how you go about approaching this kind of question. Let's take a look at one final question, which is considered a more advanced question. Okay, this question is from the National Junior College. Okay, and it says that there are 3 different bike sharing companies. Okay, one is Alpha Bike, which actually charges at a certain amount per 5-minute block or part thereafter. Then there is a Beta Bike, which actually charges based on 10-minute block or part thereafter. And then there's a Mu Bike, which charges based on 50 minutes block. Okay, and then it says that that Rebecca clocked a certain amount and that she wrote them down in the table below. But also given to you is that the month of February and March, Mu Bike actually give a 5% discount of the immediate previous month. So the unknown here is the charges based on Alpha Bike, Beta Bike, and Mu Bike. But specifically in the month of January, because February and March the prices change again. So when I define it, I will say let XYZ be the charges of Alpha Bike, Beta Bike, and Mu Bike in the month of January, where respectively, where XYZ itself they are the real values. Now I will give myself a note, by saying that the Mu Bike, charges a 5% off, in the month of February, and then another 5% off in the month of March. And I can therefore then go about writing my linear system of equation. Now for the month of January, we realize that Rebecca wrote for 25 minutes. But because Alpha Bike charges based on a 5-minute block, she just has to pay 5 times, whatever X amount that is. Now if you look at Beta Bike, is 10-minute block, and so therefore she pay 3 times of Y. And then for Mu, for Z, it will be 1 time of Z because she wrote for 15 minutes. And the total will give me $5.70. So for January is 5x plus 3y plus Z is equal to 570. Now for February, Alpha Bike, she wrote for 17 minutes. Now there are 4 different parts to this, which is 5 minute, 5 minute, 5 minute, and then a 2-minute block. Now regardless of it, correct, you pay 4x because it is part thereafter. So you have 4x plus y, and then for new bike she wrote for 44 minutes, which is also a 3 different part, which is 15, 15, 14. So she have paid 3z. But for the month of February, there's a 5% off. So rather than paying z amount, she has to pay 0.95 z. And so if you take 0.95, you multiply by 3, what you get is 2.85. So this is for the month of February. Now, do the same thing for month of March, except this time for mu bike, it is 0.95 squared Z that she have to pay because it's 5% off the immediate month. So for the month of March, mu bike is charging based on 5% off the price that they charge on February. And so therefore for March, it will be 8x plus 4y plus 2.7075z to give you $9.71. Now I apologize for this missing space. It's supposed to shift there, but I apologize for that. Okay, now that I have formed my system of linear equation, what I can do is to use my calculator and solve for what x, y, and z are. Now the question itself asks me to determine the company that have the offer rate, the cheapest rate without discount for a 14-minute ride. Now if you to take the alpha bike, then you have to pay 8 different parts. If you take the beta bike, you have to pay 4 different parts. While you take the mu bike, you have to pay 3 different parts. So for a 14-minute ride before the discounts, alpha bike is 8 times whatever x amount that we have found, beta bike is 4 times whatever y amount that we have found, and mu bike is 3 times whatever z amount z is. And by writing it out, we can therefore conclude that alpha bike offer the cheapest rate for a 14-minute bike ride. Now, so I've come to the end of this whole entire explanation. If you find this video helpful, do remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave down in the comment if there's any part that you are not sure, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. If you have the time, do practice, 2018 and even 2019 prelim paper, or even 2020 paper. These are the kind of paper that I actually go through with my students during, their tuition classes. And I would say that 2019 paper, they are a bit harder. So if you are a weaker student, I would suggest that you do 2018 paper first. But if you have a stronger grasp in mathematics, then 2019 and 2020 paper should be the paper that you should be doing them. So I've come to the end. Do remember to share if this is useful, and I shall see you in my next video. Goodbye.